All right, I do have some more exciting news. Kansas City's own Paul Rudd, we know, is the sexiest man alive. But our own Lonita Cook got the chance to talk to him and Will Ferrell about their new dark comedy, The Shrink Next Door. Lonita, hey, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm great. So, of course, this interview was before Paul Rudd was named sexiest man alive. How did that go?
Ooh, the interview was awesome. To get to talk to Paul Rudd, the man with the actual location of the Fountain of Youth, it was amazing.
You are absolutely right, because he looks exactly the same as he did when he was Josh in Clueless. Okay, so let's hear just a little bit more of your conversation with Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell.
So the two of you team for this beautiful and intimate series, the Shrink Next Door. It really illuminates how emotional breakthroughs can be intoxicating. What did you hold on to elevate that dynamic between Ike and Marty, doctor and client?
Thankfully, we had this this podcast that we first heard when we, how this started was we heard this podcast and both of us were pretty riveted to it. So it's a fairly accurate telling
of the events
what
that
happened
transpired, right?
Yeah, over 30 years. And so we got to meet Marty. We've talked to Joe Nocera, who created the podcast, and learned over time how this kind of happened.
How this evolved.
So we had a credible showrunner, a woman named Georgia Pritchard, and then people who wrote the scripts. And it was all kind of mapped out. We just kind of followed it like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm telling you, the show is wild. Episode after episode, I found myself passionately debating about which one of them was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a villain and a victim for the two of you?
Well, that's great that you kind of had that internal debate, because that was kind of Georgia, our writer, really wanted that to be a bit of a dilemma. She really didn't want it to feel like necessarily someone was the bad guy and someone was the good guy. That both characters were flawed and conflicted in their own ways. At the beginning, Dr. Ike is really helpful to Marty and really gives him great advice that gives him strength in a way that he hasn't felt before. And then that kind of slowly deteriorates over time, but he doesn't realize it's happening. And we think it's probably more common than people would want to talk about.
Yeah, Lonita, and I watched that preview, the trailer, before I came down to talk to you. And I mean, it is very intense from start to finish, but in a good way.
It is intense from start to finish in the best way. I'm telling you, episode after. So I did binge this entire series. It's a limited series, and every single episode, at first you're like, oh my goodness, how does this happen? But then afterwards, you're getting deeper into it and more emotionally invested, and it plays tonally and visually like a really good murder mystery, and the way that they reveal the details of the situation between them. And I'm telling you, I'm going to re-watch this thing, because you really, the debate that we were talking about is which one of these guys is at fault.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of show. I mean, it keeps you sucked in, so that's absolutely wonderful. It does come out today on Apple TV. Thank you, Lonita.
Thank you.